Probably needs to be tuned up. Yeah, I'm getting started a little early. I've moved into what I'm going to call Studio B. I've had this place for years. And you know how it is. It's like having an exercise machine in your bedroom. It turns into a clothes hanger. Well, this is a pass-through kind of a thing, and it was catching every piece of gear that I had, you name it, audio, video, photography. Yeah, it was just getting piled up, and I said, I think I want to move back in there. The old desk was it was like a bar height, and I had old bar stool, and that thing I hurt my butt so bad I couldn't stand it. And it was uncomfortable to sit there for a long while and do any kind of work, to do a live stream or edit stuff. And I took and cut 5 inches off of it, and I got a nice old office chair I had, and I reset a bunch of stuff and brought another computer in here that's got a NVIDIA in it. 4080, I think. So it's a little faster. It can handle some of the load almost as well as that darn old laptop I got. Now that laptop's a cooking fool. But this desktop, it'll work just fine. I hope. Y'all tell me how the picture looks if you like it. I still got the little skull man there. He's in, He's artificially inserted. He's not on a TV. I don't have a TV in here that I could put anything on, so I just interjected him artificially. That's why you could see him. I wonder if I can move him to the front, if that'll thicken him up. Let me look here. Let's try this. Now, I may disappear or something crazy. It don't matter. He's going to stay right there. So, anyway. But see, now the Canon blocked him out. So I got to put him back in there with the other logos. The Raven County rag logo and the Raven County coat of arms, 18 to 19. Yep. I even brought the old Mando in here just now. In the past, when y'all saw me fire up the live stream, I just turned it on. I brought it in and mic'd it up and started picking at it. It's out of tune. It's 6 o'clock. Let me put this thing down, get these headphones off. I think I've got it pretty much squared away. Y'all let me know. I don't know if I can get the foam on here to show you what it's like. And I've got a different camera now. It's you see a little light shining on that old bald head. Where's that coming from? Probably that light up there. Anyway, man, what a day. Man, I had well, let's go ahead and make the introductions. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Raven County Rag. We're here every Thursday from 6 o'clock to 7. And I'm going to call this episode 3. I'm going to start numbering the episodes. And I don't know if we're going to have anybody on here. I think last week we had a couple folks float through. Maybe it'll start picking up. But good evening, neighbors, and welcome back. We are a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our community, culture, families, and environment. We exchange ideas, resources, and information. Now, I need to rechange that. I had moved families up to a higher place, but I'll change that. But y'all let me know how this stream is looking. Am I out of focus? Is the sound good? Am I blaring you out? Am I, But anyway, talked about it briefly just a minute ago about moving into the new studio. And I got a teleprompter here, and I'm trying to get it lined up so I can hit the high points that Pluriforia and I came up with to talk about on this live stream. So let me know how it's streaming. But anyway, back to it. This is called Studio B, and I talked about it. The cabinet behind me has actually got all my fly tied stuff in it. Here, I'll open it up, show it to you. Oh, I got these somebody handed off these panels, and they're carved, and I haven't decided what to do with them yet. I thought about just putting them on the front of this and doing it that way, but I hadn't decided yet. I'm just sitting there looking at them. They're a little rough. There we go. There you go. Let me see. There you go. If any of y'all tie flyers want to get together and do some, let me move this chair out of the way. Let you get a better look in there. I don't know what to do with these panels. Y'all, give me a minute. I'm not an expert, but I can tie enough thread and fur and feather on a hook to entice a trout or bass or whatever. I've caught plenty on my old junky things. But man, some of those guys on YouTube, boy, them jokers, man, that is an art form. Them guys, I got just the thing about a darn headphone, I wonder if maybe one of these days somebody will gift me a wireless set, but then it's probably going to have so much daggum latency, I'll get conumbled or befumbled more than I already am, just based on mental acuity and age and all that stuff. But anyway, Studio B, y'all let me know how it looks. I don't know if I can get my phone fired up or not. I'll give you a look around the digs here. I doubt it, but well, that didn't work. I don't have it set up as a scene. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Blacked you out. That's all right. That give me something to do. Man, I've had a busy week. I'm sitting here minding my own darn business, and old boy I work with called me up and asked me if I could help them out. And I said, well, yeah, I guess so. So, I put out, let's see, 2 live streams a week, 2 videos, and 2 shorts. And so by the time you script all that out and record it and edit it, and on top of that, I'm missing my dad. I hadn't seen him in a while. So I called him up. I said, I got this work coming up in front of me, and I'm going to be in a place called, I want y'all to dig this now, called Paradise, Kentucky. I'm going to be in Paradise, Kentucky. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm not sure how long I'm going to be there. They tell me I'm probably going to be there, I don't know, 4 weeks or something like that. Paradise, Kentucky. But anyway, so, and then on top of that, before I could make that happen, I have to get some training. So now, next week, I've got to go to Spartanburg and take some training, and that's going to take about a week. And so anyway, I called up Pappy and said I'd like to come see you. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I got a new grandbaby, and he hadn't seen him yet. And I was going to drive down. He lives down there on the coast. I was going to drive down and pick him up and drive across the state of Georgia's Roanoke, Alabama, about a 5.5 hour drive, so he could see the baby. Well, he declined that part, and I told him I was going to come see him anyway because I missed him. So, add up getting the scripting and the videos done this week, and had to get it done so I could leave out early in the morning because I need to be back Sunday evening so I can go to Spartanburg on Monday. I'll be in Spartanburg Monday through Friday, and then on Monday, I'm going to have to be in Paradise, Kentucky. I wish I had a way to show you, but it's kind of northwest of northwest of Nashville, outside of Campbell, Kentucky, somewhere in that area. It's a Tennessee Valley Authority project. So yeah, I volunteered to do that, and the company I'm going to go to work with, I worked with them years ago, and I loved working with them. They're a great outfit, but opportunity called, and I couldn't deny my family the additional salary increase, and it kind of got me closer to where I wanted to be, and that is semi-retired and doing what I'm doing right here, right now. A lot more fishing, being a little more creative. So I couldn't ask for a better thing. When they called me, I was like, well, thank you, God. I was grateful for it, and I expressed that. Give me an opportunity to get out there and reconnect with some of the fellas. Maybe make a little money. Maybe invest it in the channel here. But anyway, another thing that happened, the dadgum hot water heater started leaking. And it's been going on for a while now. We had some work done. We've got 5 families up here on the mountain, and we share water resources. And that means we have a cistern up the hill, and it's gravity fed, and we pump water out of the well down here on the corner of the property, pump water up the hill, couple check valves along the way, and another pump, and it fills the cistern. And then that cistern feeds the 5 houses that are up here, including mine. I'm on the bottom. That's important. I'm on the bottom. And Uh, they did the work, and my darn old toilet started making a noise. Wee! When you turn on the water, I said, "What in the world?" And got to looking at it, and then the hot water heater started leaking at the pressure release valve. I said, "Doggone it!" And that reminds me, I got a call, and so I replaced the pressure release valve on it, and it started leaking. And I said, well, maybe it's a faulty valve. So I took it back and got another one, brought it in, put it in, and it leaked too. And I'm not talking about a lot. It's enough to wet your floor in the basement here. Fortunately, it's in the basement, but I got a lot of stuff here in the basement I don't want to get wet. And so I said, doggone. And so I called the warranty company. Man, HSA, if y'all can avoid working with HHSA, I encourage you to avoid them. And this is the third time I've dealt with them over an 8-year period. And each time I've done it, it's been aggravating as all get outs. It was 2 weeks before they could get somebody out here to take a look at it. And I thought, man, look, I got water dripping in my floor. And she says, well, have you shut off the valve? I said, are you suggesting that my family be deprived of hot water and sanitation, flushing the toilet? And she goes, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry too. I don't. And I was like, Lord, guys. And so that agitated the fool out of me. And then I got to thinking about the second pressure release. And so I went to the Home Depot, and for, I don't know, $15, $20, you can buy a gauge that you put on a spigot. And I put it on a spigot outside the house and cranked it up. It read 95 pounds. 95 pounds. I said, good Lord. Man, the old pecs in the house, I don't think is good, but 100. And I said, oh, Lord. And I got to investigating, and I guess it made sense being a gravity fed, but they didn't put a pressure regulator in this house. And so that tank, the pressure was close enough by the time it heated up and added additional pressure due to the heat, it would leak off. It's a safety feature. And so I went and got that thing this morning, and it read 95 pounds. I said, good Lord. And so then I went back to the Home Depot. I called them. I said, anybody working in plumbing today? No, sir, but I'll try and help you if you want me to. I said, I'm looking for a pressure release, pressure regulator to go in my house. I said, schedule 40. And she goes, well, I think, and I was like, oh Lord, here goes one of those, I think. I said, what aisle are they on? And she says, they're on aisle 9. I said, okay. So I drove up there and I started walking around. And I found them, and they had a 1 inch and a 3/4 inch. And if y'all need to know the name, I'll go get the box, or I'll send me a note or whatever, and I'll tell you what they are. And so I'm standing around, and I measured the schedule 40, and I knew the size, but I could not locate the fittings to get that schedule onto that pressure regulator. And I'm wandering around the store. I'll walk up to the service desk, and old woman's sitting there, and she's on her phone. She's just looking at it and scrolling. And I said, excuse me, Anybody working in plumbing today? And she looked at me like a deer in the headlights, and she thought, and she goes, no, sir, but there's Craig in the tool section. He might be able to help you. I said, shoot. So I walk all the way back over there, right? And I continue to look. And finally, I got frustrated. I got stuff to do. I had to upload those videos I made and edited. I had to get them up. I had you guys to get with tonight. And so I looked for another 10 minutes, and I walked over there and I saw this guy, and I said, oh, shit, I got the wrong thing up there, boys and girls. This is a Rabun County rag. And I said, man, y'all ain't got no help, have you? He says, well, they just don't schedule enough. And I said, but, you know, y'all's advertising campaign says, let us experts help you out. It might have been Ace that did that. And I said, there ain't much expert help available, is there? He says, what you need? Let me see. And I walked over there and I told him, and he set me up. He found everything, and I made sure I had everything. And I came home and organized the plumber's helper, my wife, and told her the game plan, had it all set up. The only thing left to do was to cut that PVC pipe and glue in the fix, that pressure regulator. And so shut the water off, said, go upstairs and open every drain in the house. Open all the water up. And I went outside and opened the lowest. Well, no, actually, I got one in the bathroom down here. And opened it up, flushed the toilet. Got all the water out of the system I could. And they still about I don't know, 4 or 5 foot length of that 3/4 or 1 1/4 outside diameter schedule 40 that I knew was going to have water in it. And I told the wife, I said, we're going to have to catch this water coming out of this thing with a bucket. That's what I need you to do. It said, unless you want to cut the pipe. And I got up there and marked the pipe. I said, are you ready? And I went to, it's got them old scissor things, and I went to squeezing, and it started spewing at me, and I put my hand over it and pushed on through, and sploosh. She caught most of it in the bucket, and the other portion she caught on herself in the floor. And so got that part cut out, dried everything off, cleaned the pipe, and used the old dope cleaner and the old blue dope, and got her glued in, and waited about an hour, and she got anxious, and I said, all right, let's go cut it on. So I went in there and cut it on, and we went upstairs and shut off all the water. Shut off all the valves, and I've checked on it a couple times. No leaks so far, and the old toilet ain't going wee when you turn the water on. I wonder how close I was to blowing out a pipe. Anyway, I'm going to call that darn warranty company. Tell them just cancel it. Because another thing I did is went by Blossom Gas, and I said, y'all want to price me a new hot water heater? And they said, sure we do. So they may come out, and if I effected a fix, and I had turned the temperature down on the hot water heater too to keep the temperature down till I could figure out what was going on. I swear I thought it was that hot water heater, and it may be yet. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out over the next few hours. But anywho, so got that done today. Got the videos posted today. I'm going to leave out sometime 5:30 or so in the morning. Make tracks down there and see my old pappy. And then come back Sunday morning and do some laundry and pack the bags and go to Spartanburg for a week. Be there till Friday evening and come home Friday evening and get some laundry done. Probably going to have to cut the darn grass. and then head to Paradise, Kentucky. It's a 4-day work week, and I'm sure they're working 10 hours a day. But damn, that's still gonna have to travel time. I'm I'm gonna bill them for travel time. If I'm off my couch or out of my studio here, man, if I ain't getting paid doing something, and somebody hollers and wants me to go do something for them, I think that's appropriate to bill them. I look forward to it, and hopefully they'll enjoy my company. The guy I'm going to go see, I've worked with him in the past. We had a good working relationship. I guess his official title is project manager, and I've worked with the division manager on a couple tricky things. So he and I had a good relationship. So maybe we can get together and help each other out. So next week, I'm probably going to be in a hotel room, and I'll be doing it from a hotel room, and it's probably not going to look as fancy as this. But anyway, man, I've been blown away for 20 minutes on just talking about my darn stuff. If somebody happened by and sees this, give me a comment. Think about that day I've had. I still, and the thing of it is that water line was behind the refrigerator in the pantry, so I had to move the refrigerator out, and that son of a gun was heavy. Now I got to go push it back. When I get done with this, go push that, check for leaks one more time, and push that refrigerator back, and call it a day. Whew. Anyway, glad you're here. Glad you joined. If you've been riding with us, you already know this stream is our campfire. We sit around campfire and chew the fat. Now what them old guys used to say, chew the fat. It's another, we call this the Raven County rag. I better be careful. I'll be done knock this microphone off this desk. It's not as securely mounted as it could be. I wish I had my old phone set up. I could, you know what? I could, let's see. I'm going to leave you in the studio mode, and I'm going to look at setting up while I talk to you, and see if I can get you a view. Let's see what we got going on there. Property. Can you still see me? Let's see here. Says the old phone is hooked up, but you don't ever know. It says it's on. You know what? I might not be able to figure it out. We'll see. I don't know if I want to fool with it. But as long as y'all can see me, I can't. I've got this old window open. This old OBS. I'm grateful for OBS because it don't cost nothing. But I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. Intermodal. So let me see. I don't have it turned on the computer, but we'll see what we can do. I don't know. How's it? Let me see here. I'm going to quit this. Nobody wants to watch me do this, I'm sure. Let's see what we can get going on. Well, it don't say. So, nothing new. Oh no, I have goofed up again. I am streaming on nothing new. I'm going to stop stream. Oh man, crap. All right, guys, hang on. I apologize.